Hey guys, it's Paige. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. So we're going to do a little type of different video today. I'm doing so much golf and you really loved the last course vlog, so thanks for all of the nice comments. You guys are amazing. But I also get a lot of comments on what I do for a living basically, and I've talked about this before, but you guys want to know like how I take my pictures and how I work with different companies, and so that's what this video is going to be about today. So let's just get right into it. So there are so many different digital media platforms. You have Twitter, which is more opinion based. I don't really use pictures or videos on Twitter as much. Then you have Instagram, which is all about the images and the videos. And then obviously I have YouTube, and then also Facebook, and there's some other ones, but those are the main ones that I consistently use. And one thing that I always try to be really careful about is what I put on different platforms. So what I would put on YouTube, I don't put on Instagram, and what I put on Instagram, I don't put on Twitter, and everything has to be just a little bit different when it comes to the content you're producing. So I think when I'm looking at Instagram, I just want pictures that pop, and it tends to be more about like what I'm wearing and what I look like, and that's totally fine. And then when it comes to the videos, I really focus on like 10 seconds, 10-15 seconds. That's kind of the sweet spot that I try to stay in. So for the videos, it's more about like what I'm wearing and less about like what I have to say about certain things. And so I always try to mix it up with different fun outfits and create either like a conversation about what I'm wearing or cause a reaction out of it. And for me, it's just like Instagram is the most fun platform for me, and I love it. And again, it's like more just about like, it's superficial in a way, where it's more like look at me and not as much what I have to say. But that's why I use other platforms like YouTube. So for YouTube, it's less about what I look like. I still obviously keep my image across the board. It's going to be the same. My brand is always the same. But with YouTube, I try to focus on being more of like an expert and talking about my experience in golf and instruction and showcasing what everything else I have to offer, and also like my knowledge in the game of golf. It's longer form videos, so anywhere from 10 minutes to, I think probably the longest I've ever done was like 30-40 minutes. And so that is why I like to talk more in my YouTube videos compared to Instagram, where it is so quick. And I've seen a better response on Instagram when it isn't as long of a video, and then I save that for YouTube. When it comes to Twitter, it's all about just like quick takes, hot takes, anything again to kind of create a conversation. And that's where I feel like I show off my humor and my funny side. And so every platform, I kind of feel like I show off a different side of me. And then Facebook's kind of a combination of all of them, where I'll just pick certain things from each platform and then I'll put that one on Facebook. I think most people will be surprised that I don't have a full crew or team around me when it comes to creating content. Most of the ideas are my own ideas. I would say probably almost all of them are. When it comes to new content ideas, my sister, she actually helps me a lot with YouTube, and so we'll kind of come up with new ideas here and there, but for the most part everything is me and my ideas. And then when it comes to shooting them, we have a very small team, as in it's 2 people, me and another person, and normally we either just shoot on like my iPhone for all of my Instagram videos, and then for YouTube we use a Canon camera. So we try to get better equipment. For the most part, it's still just like either an iPhone and almost like very little editing when it comes to Instagram. And I feel like I have upgraded with technology from when I first started, where everything was on a phone, and I did realize that I want the quality to be a little bit better. So I invested in a really good camera to take my pictures, and then also a different camera to do my vlogging or my YouTube. And I feel like that has made such a big difference, and you don't need like a full team around you. If you have really good equipment, that makes all of the difference. And I still think that like people love having just like videos on an iPhone or pictures on an iPhone because it feels more authentic to you. I think when content is so overproduced for digital media and social media, that it doesn't read as well to the audience. And so even though like I have upgraded my equipment, I still try to make it as personal as possible, and that's something I like to do. I don't like to make it, you know, so crazy overproduced with like a full team, and I just don't like the look of that. I think that's for certain people, but for what I'm doing, I don't need that. And I feel like you guys watching actually prefer the content that's more personal, like on my phone, compared to like a highly produced video. I think another thing that's really important that I have done really well from the start of my career until now is that I've always had the same voice in all of my content. So when I've started out, I didn't have any guidance from any professionals telling me what to say, what not to say. And so I came out being very open and honest about my life. And I think that I've done a really good job of continuing that and being really real and authentic. I don't feel like any of this has changed me. If anything, I feel like it's made me even more outspoken and more honest, which I think is great. With social media, I feel like there's the one downfall is that everything is fake. Everything you see on social media is fake. Everyone's fake. And they always try to show the really good parts of their lives. And I try to do the opposite. I try to show the ups and the downs, the good and the bad, when I fail, why I failed, and try to use it as like a learning experience. And I think you guys have seen that I am always open and honest, maybe too open and honest at times. I think that anyone trying to get into this industry or to be on social media, you have to be really real and authentic to yourself. And you've seen this whole like golf girl movement. I think the reason it worked well for me is that it wasn't an act for me. I wore what I wore. I've always worn that. Everything that I was doing was just natural to me. I wasn't trying to put on an act to get followers. I wasn't trying to be someone I wasn't. You need to like look at yourself, what sets you apart from other people, and then use that in your social media. So for me, I have a background in golf, but I also like beauty and fashion, so I've kind of combined both of those. And then also I have a pretty silly personality, and so I know people say, well, you're never going to be taken seriously if you keep doing what you're doing. And that's the point. Like, I know my content isn't serious. It's not supposed to be serious. There's so many serious people out there, especially in the golf community, that you can go follow, and they're great and they're awesome, but that's just not what I like to do. I like my content to be funny and not serious. Everything that I do is fairly calculated. I think that's something that people don't realize. I put so much effort into my pictures, what I wear, why I'm wearing it, what I say, when I say it. I mean, this is a job to me. It's not just something that I do for fun anymore. And I think people don't realize that this is actually like a full-time job. And even though what I'm saying is stupid or silly, there's a reason why I said it, or there's a reason why I'm wearing something. I want to add one more thing to what I was just talking about, and it goes back to my YouTube content too. I really try to strip it down and give the most simple and easiest advice ever when it comes to golf. I feel like everyone overcomplicates it to look and seem smarter than they actually are, and I think that it actually hurts people who are watching their content or getting instruction from them, because you don't need to overcomplicate a golf swing. It's already hard enough. And so I think when people again look at my content, they might think that it's like, oh, she just doesn't know anything and that's why it's so simple. But no, there's actually thought behind it, and I want to make the golf content as easy to consume as possible. And so that's why I really try to strip it down and make it as easy for you guys to like figure out what I'm saying and actually take the tips that I'm talking about and to incorporate it into your swing. Okay, so I also get a lot of questions on how I work with different partners and why I work with them. It's really hard working with companies, and I've learned this the hard way, is when they want to have a lot of control over the content that you put out there. And they don't realize or respect or understand your own personal brand. And they think that if they have their message out to, your followers, that it's going to be the most impactful, and that's not the case. If I'm saying something that is drastically different than everything that I've ever said in the past or any of the content I produce, it's not going to do as well. And it's really hard working with companies because they know that they need to use influencers and, social media to grow their own brand, but they don't know how to do it yet. And so they don't quite trust the influencers to do the right thing or, promote their brand in the right way. And so I worked with a lot of companies before where I was almost like stuck saying it the way that they wanted me to say it, and it didn't do well for anyone. It wasn't a great partnership. And I also try to do partnerships instead of one-off posts. So a one-off post is a company that can come to you and they will pay you for, as just what it says, a one-time post, and that's that. I like a partnership because you get to work with them over time, and I like extended partnerships, so not even just, you know, a couple months or a year. I like 2 to 3 year partnerships with certain companies, and that way you can build a rapport with that company and you can become more creative with them, and the content is so much better for both of us. It's just so hard for companies to realize that you need to trust an influencer to do the right job. And I think it's because that there's honestly not that many really good influencers out there. And so I think all these companies have had really bad experiences with micro influencers. And so either the influencer has bought their following, bought their engagement, and so when they finally do a sponsored deal, there's no engagement there because everything is fake from the start. Or you have an influencer who doesn't really know what they're doing or their audience. I know my audience so well, and so I would never pick a product that I know they would never like, or you guys would never like. I thought it would be so unbelievably stupid if I was just, I don't know, talking about, you know, skinny teas or detox or, you know, certain things that just don't fit my brand or anything that I've talked about or anything that, you know, you guys would find interesting as well. So it's a long process, and I think a lot of times influencers do like money grabs where they don't really care. They don't care about you guys at all. All they care about is putting money in the pocket, and that's fine. I mean, we all need to make money and that's how I make my money. And so I've turned down a lot of sponsored deals because, one, I don't want to be doing so much sponsored content, and two, it's just something that, like, it doesn't align with my brand, or, you know, like, creatively it just doesn't come together. But that's like the hardest part of all of this, is making like really good sponsored content. And I think also too, since influencers do so much sponsored content all the time, every post you see is sponsored, that a lot of people, like you guys, have lost a lot of trust in influencers because we just will sling out any product available or possible. And so when I do find a really great product, sometimes it is hard for me because I feel like you guys are like, oh, she's only in it for the money and she doesn't really like this product. But it's actually the opposite. Like, I would never promote something that I don't totally love and use. I've seen that the hardest would probably be with Medterra. So Medterra is a CBD company that I've worked with, and I've used their products for years. I used their product for probably almost like a year before I even started working with them, and it's helped my life so much. But when I say that and then I'm like, here's a code, I feel like you guys tend to be like, oh, everything she just said isn't real anymore, and it's just about the code, and that's what's hard too. So it's always like that balance of like when to promote, why to promote, and what to do. Another difficult thing about social media is people always ask, like, what are you going to do in 5 years, 10 years? And I don't know, because the digital landscape is ever changing, and Instagram could be gone in 2 years, 5 years. I don't know. I have no idea. Or a new platform could be coming up, and that's scary because I have no job security in a sense, where it's like, you know, I've put so much work and effort into Instagram and growing that following, and then one day it could just not be popular anymore. It could all be gone, and like, that's scary. So I don't know what the next 5 years are going to look like, what the next 10 years are going to look like, and that can be scary at times. But my goal is to always just put out really good content for you guys, stuff that's fun and simple and easy to consume, and take your mind off of how hard life is sometimes, because we all know life is really sucky. So I have a really great job. I'm so lucky to do what I do. I love it. And I mean, I get to play golf for fun now, which I really enjoy. I did not like playing for a living. That just wasn't quite for me, I don't think. But I just want to thank you guys for always supporting me across all of my platforms and everything that I do. You're truly the best, and it's fun to come up with new funny ideas for you guys to make you laugh and just give you something to watch. So I hope you guys like this video. Don't forget to like it, subscribe to my channel, and leave a comment down below of something else you want to see coming up. And I'll see you guys next Thursday.